Mikulo Mawufe Numeto. We are also Agelogbagan, the paramount monarch of the Maroon Monarchy of Ganlodo. We're just making this quick video to, just in case some people don't quite understand what we represent, our background, where, our track record up until now. There's a lot of new people that have come to the site, and we're thankful for you all. We say a cabo to you. That means welcome. But we want to just give a quick rundown, not in a particular order, of what we are about. And this is in case you don't know. As a monarchy, we were founded in 2012, European date of September 29th. This was May 12th. A little bit short of 2 years after we were coronated in 2010 Gregorian calendar, September 29th. Before that, we were engaged for at least 20 years in various nationalistic, black nationalism type of endeavors. NCOBRA, the National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America. Malcolm X Grassroots Movement. New African Independence Movement, being a member of the New African Peoples Organization. Considering ourselves part of the Republic of New Africa, which was also a reparations movement more towards land and self-development, self-sufficiency. And we say was still, there are still many of us that are down with those principles. We're just taking a more adaptable approach to that end. So, we're admirers of the works of John Henry Clark, John G. Jackson, and the nation-building works in particular of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, who was a monarch in his own right. So, that being said, we are a Kilombo. What is a Kilombo? You usually see that spelled Quilombo. That's the bastardized Portuguese way of spelling Kilombo, which is a Kikongo word, which means encampment, establishment. Kilombos were places of not just refuge for those captive Africans that had escaped the yoke of captivity, but they were governments in and of themselves. So much so that the European powers, being big nations and all that, they had to make negotiations and contend with these Africans who had sense enough to live self-determination. And so Kilombo is synonymous with sovereignty. We call it Nujipeto in Yoruba. So we want to make it absolutely clear right off the bat that Ganlodo, the name of our monarchy, is an Isheshe Vodun tradition monarchy. Isheshe most often misnomered Yoruba religion or Ifa or Orisha religion. The correct name for the tradition is Isheshe. And Isheshe is just an aspect of Vodun, Vodun being the oldest of our traditions that we have, period. We are 100% African. Now, some people need to hear that another way, because people try to misinterpret, manipulate that terminology. We are all African. They try to say the whole world is African. We all come out of Africa. No, we don't. Africans came out of Africa. black people. Now, that's a term we truly don't like using, but we do realize it's a term that people overstand. You could, one tribe might try to manipulate African and say, well, we all come from Africa. We're talking about what many of you call black people. So let's get that straight. We're 100%, whether you are a African Cuban, so-called black Cuban, African in Detroit, African in Brixton, African in LA or Alabama, you are what we call a new African. And that is a political concept that speaks to our distinctive experiences outside of the continent of Maufe, or what is now called Africa, but the ancient term, Ajay term, is Maufe, land of Mau, beloved land of Mau, the creator. So that is one of the main things we want you to get from this video. We are 100% African. We do no divinations, no spiritual works, or anything for non-Africans. We are not of the concept of where a lot of people, they're saying all this stuff about black and brown, they African too. It's funny because they don't say that. It's only misguided so-called black people, in particular black Americans, that are always talking about that black and brown unity, and they are black people too. Sadly, not a lot of the Africans, the ones that are quote unquote black in Cuba and Brazil, have been conditioned to not identify as African. So they may think that our comment just then was about them, so far as being part of that brown thing. No, there you are African, that so-called black thing. We do not have a campaign against brown people that call themselves brown or yellow, whatever these different terminologies of color and that have nothing to do with ethnicity people are using. We are African first and only. It's just that simple. People seem to have a problem with that. They want to make you say something else when you're simply saying we are 100% African, about Africans and for Africans, founded by Africans, come from African lineage, period. So we want to also make it clear that we are not a religious monarchy. We don't use terms like religion unless we're trying to explain that we don't use that term, unless we're talking about those that are of the religious mindset. So, Vodun, Isheshe, for us is a way of life. We do not practice anything. We live it. We have a problem with the term, someone saying that they practice a religion. That sounds like something you put on and off when you want to. We can go practice playing the djembe drum. Then we put that djembe drum down, and we pick it up when we want to. You live Vodun. You don't practice. African traditions are not practice. We don't even have a term for that in Fon or Yoruba. We are not ecumenical or universal. Once again, that goes back into what this video started, what we started on. This is not for non-African people. This is not universal. This is not save the world. This is to maintain and perpetuate African integrity amongst African people intergenerationally, or what we call in Yoruba, ate baye baye. So we're not ecumenical. We're not Catholic in the sense of what that word means. We are 100% about the intergenerational transmission of African knowledge, African wisdom, African governmental systems, African royal institutions, divination systems, kata wakata. And those that don't understand what kata wakata mean, that is Kibantu for etc., so on and so on. Speaking of divination systems, we do not believe in non-African divination systems. To be an African and practice European astrology or tarot card, you say you're in an African tradition, that means you don't have confidence in your ancestors. That means, the statements and all these blogs and articles and videos you're doing about Africa this, Africa that, you really don't believe in that. And it's because, unfortunately, we'll say interestingly, it's because a lot of people are not trained in the proper systems that they say they believe in. So what they do, they call themselves substituting. We've run into many tarot readers, many astrology persons that claim Orisha and, to be initiated to an Orisha, to claim Isheshe or Vodun. Many. So we at Ganlodo do not in any form, fashion whatsoever participate in non-African divinatory systems. As a matter of fact, it is taboo. It is literally taboo. It's just as taboo as interracial coupling is at Ganlodo. That is another point we want to bring out. Now, some Black Americans that are watching this, they don't like that statement. Once again, we are about our people. We're about our blood. We're about our children looking like us. We see these people in these interracial couple situations. The children don't look like nobody. So we don't do that. Those that have sympathy or empathy towards that, who, let's say, they may not do it themselves, but they have no problem with it, then they have no place at Ganlodo Hotome. Hotome means monarchy. You will notice we use the term monarchy instead of kingdom, unlike some other people. Because we come from a lineage where there were many female monarchs. Many. Out of 55 from our particular lineage from Hebier, 20 of them were female. And there would have been more if the monarchy had not been disrupted around the year 1801 European time. So we don't do chauvinism at Ganlodo. There's a complement to every office. A Hosu, that is what we are. That is king. But there's also a Hosi, and that's queen. So we don't do chauvinism. We don't do imbalance. No, we don't believe in converting and evangelizing and whatnot. That is for the Western religions, and not just the Western religions, because you got a lot of the people that are Sikh and Hindu and Buddhists doing this type of stuff now. On corners passing out stuff and whatnot, trying to talk to you about their traditions, which is, it's sad because, well, not sad. It's sad for them because they're going to find out that they've been inviting the wrong people in their tradition, and it's going to backfire on them big time. So we don't proselytize, basically what we're saying. We are not about interracial coupling, interracial relationships. It is not okay to simply copulate with non-African, but not marry them. Some people, come with all these crazy excuses. Well, I would never marry one. But you just committed the greatest affront to your ancestors, copulating with this non-African. So we do not accept it at Ganlodo in any form. Now, people over there, they doing whatever around the corner up the street. As long as they don't try to bring that to the doors of Ganlodo, we are perfectly fine. We at Ganlodo, we are we're about self-development, self-accountability. So in saying that, we want to make it clear that we do not okay any form of degeneracy among African people. We say that because a lot of people tolerate foolishness from our own people and blame it on the system, the white man, and all these other external factors. And what they don't understand is that they're taking the humanity from people when they do that, because objects are acted on from the outside. Objects are influenced from the outside. Thing at rest will always remain at rest, but once you give it motion, it goes, however that theorem goes. That's an object. That's not a human. A human moves and not moves upon will and often spirit. So we do not okay any form of degeneracy, especially those things that clearly hurt our community. But when it's put in a rap song, it's okay. Or when it's your partner, it's okay. No. So we condemn all degenerate things done by Africans and non-Africans towards our people, our community, where a community does exist. So one of the things we expect at Ganlodo is integrity. People to come with the motivation of merit and not privilege. Let's just say, you got royal blood or something like that. That's not automatic. It's not automatic that you get something because of that. You have to show merit. We had to show merit to become the Axosu. We had to show merit to even be able to found this monarchy 2 years later. We should have had to show 2 years of merit in order to be, okay, now you're a monarch, but now you can found a monarchy. Think on that one for a minute. Merit and character is very key. Consistency. Loyalty to your family, your friends. That is very key for us. Family development is the foundational thing for us. So we want to highly advise anyone, because we've had this happen where these people, they have a family. There's a family, but only one person is trying to move in the way of culture. The other and then that one person is okay with the other person not doing it. We are about family development. One go to the shrine, everybody in the house goes to the shrine. Everybody. Especially husband, wife, child. We don't believe in the unequally yoked thing. That doesn't work for Ganlodo. That works for those, other Ilays, the ones that call themselves Ilays, in America and whatnot, wherever they may be. But we don't do that. We don't believe in initiation as being initiated to a deity as the key to what you ultimately need to do in life. If initiation to a deity is in your handoa, your destiny, then okay, that will happen. But the key to your life is Egungun, Kulita, the ancestors in Yoruba and Fon language, respectively, and your Ori, your personal divinity represented by the physical head amongst the Yoruba. So we do a lot of Egungun teaching, ancestor teaching, and Ori teaching at Ganlodo to get you prepared to properly carry a deity. We do not believe in like a lot of people, they come to, we've seen it in the past so often. We've heard about it recently. They come to an Ile, and the person over the Ile or somebody in the Ile say, you need to be initiated. Just found out how to pronounce the word Orisha 2 weeks ago. But now you're supposed to get initiated. Christians don't even do that. People in the biblical traditions don't even do that. Why is it that we are so slack? Why are they so slack? Because Ganlodo is not on that type of foolery right there. So we believe in the power of family. Everybody in the family must be taught everything. The children must be taught everything, but in a way that they can understand it at whatever age they may be. So there is no such thing as the parents doing something and while the child is left to do something else. No, that is very Yovo. That's a Yovo concept all day. And we hope people understand that after we've spoken on this. What do we aim for at Ganlodo? We aim for sovereignty, something that people that are not of a sovereign mindset will say can't be done. Once a sovereign people, you can if you tap into the particular right ancestors and deities, you can be sovereign again, most definitely. Yet the sovereignty must come from, it must first start in the order. You must first know that it is possible. You must first want it to happen in yourself, in your family, and of course in the nation.
My name is Eddie Marks, President and CEO.
So we believe in being of a sound and sovereign mind at all times. That is the key. That is the primary goal for Ganlodo. And any people that thinking that way, they're looking at land acquisition and the like. So we wanted to make this quick video to just clarify some things, just in case people either forgot what we were about. Some people may have been thinking, since we hadn't been stressing particular points, we may not be about that anymore. When if you pay attention to the blog and our past in general, you will know that we are not only still about that, but we have accelerated our efforts towards that. Family development and nation building, based on what many people call a nationalistic ideology, what we call Kilombo. The Kilombo represents the freedom of the new African, the sovereignty of the new African. So this is what we are about. Can non-Africans play a role? Is what we've been asked over the years, strangely, by African people. The answer is no, in the sense that they're talking about it. But then the answer is yes, from the perspective of, yes, stay out of our way. Do not try to be a part of what we do. Do not try to join on to what we do. That's the role they can play. The role they can play is to not try to come this way, because anytime they're involved in something, it is going to be absolute destruction, internal combustion. The great Kilombo of Palmares in Brazil is an example. They maintained the freedom for up to 300 years, a sovereignty. The Portuguese and the Dutch didn't know what to do with them. When they started to allow the non-African in their space, even to the point of one of their kings marrying a non-African, then this was spelled the beginning of the end. A European non-African, by the way. This happened in Dahomey with one of the kings of Dahomey. And this showed you that the internal rot of Dahomey had kicked in very good, because one of their kings in the 1800s married a non-African, European, Dutch woman, who was really, interestingly, she was a prostitute. And he took her as a wife. And because of her incorporated Christian, as they call it in the Christian shrines, Christian Vodun shrines, it was because of her. He did that. That can be nothing but destruction when you allow the non-African in your space, in your sacred space. You know, business. Do we do business with the non-African? Yeah, you know, nations do business with each other all the time. But we don't open our doors for them to visit our shrines. Anyone, if he claims or she claims to be a king or queen, a chief or a priest or priestess, anyone that says that their doors are open to all people, to non-Africans also, and they are supposed to be a leader in African tradition, they are the abject enemy of African people and African traditions, period. Point blank. Why even put an invitation out there like that? Especially when you got so much work to do for your own people, for your own space. So know that anybody that is opening their doors, saying all are welcome, European, Chinese, everybody, it doesn't matter. And they specifically make the statement, because this is how you know they have an agenda. They make the statement that it doesn't matter if you're black or white. It doesn't matter what color you are. All are welcome. Welcome for what? What are they going to do for your shrines? For the building of your nation? Outside to come voyeur you, take pictures of you with long lens cameras. Get their jollies off that way and laugh at you when they go home. So know that anyone engaged in such rhetoric is the enemy of African people. And if they have a title, they're not worthy of that title. So you technically, you don't have to refer to them as that title. They are what we call Kintu in the Kikongo language. Kintu is a thing, a person that just has animation, but it's not a Muntu. A Muntu is a true human being. So they're not Muntu, they're Kintu. So we thank you for taking your time to view this video. We pray that for anyone that needed clarity on this, on who we are and what we're about, that you got it, and we pray that your families elevate to the highest heights. Those that are sincere, that wish to make movements in the proper place, those, and we're speaking to those that are like on our email list or whatnot, and you haven't contacted us yet, feel free to do so. We are always building. There is a screening process, and it is unlike pretty much anything you've ever seen. We'll let you know that, because we are a Kilombo. Kilombos were put off into hidden places. That's how they survived so long. And when they took in new members, they blindfolded them. They blindfolded them from where they got them from to, which was usually a plantation, to the Kilombo. So they would never know their way back. And oftentimes they were not allowed to leave up to 2 years from the Kilombo until it was shown after a period that they were worthy and would not sell out the Kilombo. Now, we're not necessarily just telling you how long the probationary period and screening period is with Ganlodo, but know that there is a if you can imagine that physically, take that culturally, and apply to Ganlodo. That know that there's a process, know that it's not a 1, 2, 3 step. Not a easy thing. Because we have to be careful. There are many enemies out there. There are enemies watching this video now. They're trying to figure out how can we infiltrate. And so far, our defenses have been just as great as Palmares up until they lost their mind in the last days. We will not lose our mind. We will only increase our Ori, the power of our Ori. Odigba.